When it first entered the market a few decades ago, 3D printing was used to craft small items like fidget spinners or action figures. But with technology constantly evolving, experts are starting to explore the true potential of additive manufacturing. Could it, for instance, be used to make megastructures? In July 2023, a startup in Florida showed us that the technology can indeed be scaled. The US-based Printed Farms created a luxury barn in Wellington, which is currently being credited as the world's largest 3D printed building. The structure's 3D printed walls are built to withstand rough weather conditions, with gaps in the walls to allow for natural cooling. The barn spans an impressive 10,100 square feet. About 3,000 feet of this space took only 18 hours to assemble. The barn, much like many other impressive 3D construction projects in recent years, was built with the Cobod Bod 2 3D printer. Apart from being the most prolific, this is the fastest printer on the market, with a print speed of up to 1,000 millimeters a second. Other structures built with this device include the world's tallest on-site 3D printed building, a 32-foot-tall 3-story villa in Saudi's capital, Riyadh. It was also used in the construction of 3 of the fastest 3D printed buildings in the world: a coffee shop, a public toilet, and a fisherman's house in Oman, which collectively took only 8 days to put together. Exactly how long these buildings will keep their titles remains to be seen, as more record-breaking projects are announced every single day. For instance, a new data center is under construction in Heidelberg, Germany, which has the potential to be the biggest 3D printed building in Europe when it's done. The data center will be made out of 100% recyclable material. Experts say that it will only need a couple of weeks to be built, with some sources saying that the whole structure can be done in no less than 140 hours. Eventually, we can expect 3D printed revolution to reach everyday people, with many groundbreaking housing projects set to finish across the US in 2023. In fact, the World Bank has predicted that 1.6 billion people will be affected by a housing shortage in 2025, making this new way of construction more valuable than ever. In 2021, a couple in the Netherlands moved into the first ever 3D printed concrete house. The single-story structure spanned a little over 1,000 square feet and included a living room and 2 bedrooms. The CEO of the 3D printed company, Alquist, predicts that more homes will be built through additive manufacturing than traditional methods by 2027. Clearly, 3D printing is already showing promise in the construction of smaller structures, including bridges and offices. With the way the technology is advancing, it's only a matter of time before it makes its way into the building of megastructures. The first phase of constructing a 3D printed project is to create a digital model of what the completed structure will look like. The printer will then use this blueprint to deposit material layer upon layer until the entire structure is built. Rather than ink, 3D printers use materials like concrete, metal, or polymers. Depending on the project in question, several innovative methods have emerged in 3D construction. The most common of these is called extrusion, which makes the use of a robotic arm or a crane to layer material back and forth through a nozzle. Powder binding, meanwhile, uses powdered raw material as its building blocks, which is solidified into the desired shape. A third method involves spraying material under high pressure, layer by layer, into the desired shape. It has shown promise in creating vertical structures, such as facades. Construction experts are also experimenting with additive welding, a process by which traditional welding machines are transformed into 3D printing robots. This process was used in Amsterdam to build a fully functional 40-foot-long metal bridge. It's known that the construction of megastructures run well over their deadlines. In fact, it is estimated that, on average, construction projects take about 20% longer than the deadline before they are completed. This in turn adds to costs. Depending on the scale of the project, a 3D printed construction takes anywhere from a few hours or days to build. This results in a 70% reduction in construction time. As a result, contractors can work on more projects, increasing their income, and countries can build more impressive structures without worrying about rising costs. The process also does away with some of the dangers associated with the construction of megaprojects. It is estimated that 20% of all workplace-related fatalities in the U.S. occur on building sites, even though its workers make up only 6% of the labor force. 3D construction is also better for the planet, as it results in less waste. Apart from needing less material to complete a project, the material used can also be recycled. Flexibility, however, is the most promising aspect of 3D printing in the construction of megastructures. A 3D printer allows you to design innovative structures without relying on templated blueprints, increasing costs, or adding to the workforce. These benefits are what have allowed NASA to develop Lina, a 3D printed outpost for astronauts on the moon. That said, there's a reason why 3D printers aren't already deployed in the construction of massive bridges or townships just yet. While we're slowly coming closer to a 3D printed future, there are still some issues to fix. One of the most prominent is with regard to safety. How long will 3D printed constructions last? Can they withstand hurricanes, earthquakes, catastrophic storms? Experts aren't entirely sure yet. Meanwhile, ensuring consistent quality and structural integrity in large-scale projects has also been challenging because of varying material properties and print quality. And scaling up 3D printing for large projects is also proving to be technically complicated. Dealing with these challenges, of course, will require hefty investment, implying that it will take some time before 3D printing is approved for mega projects on a global scale. At the end of the day, the simple answer to the question is yes, it will be easy to make mega projects with 3D printing. All we need to do is wait.